$3,000 in rent and we don't own a house?
Why we pay 3,000 and why we don't own?
People think 3,000 is outrageous, and
$3,000 rent is high, but high is relative to how much money you make.
why can't we buy a house?
Like a mortgage? Why we don't have a mortgage?
Yes.
Well, it's not that I can't pay a mortgage. I can pay less on the mortgage because I know what they're getting at. I could pay less on the mortgage, but I also have to do maintenance and repairs on the house, right? Depending on the year of the house, right? It comes into play with maintenance. Plus, I got to pay taxes. So depending on where you're living and whatever area you're in, yeah, you got to pay the taxes. So to me, it's all about status. Either you're going to say that you own a house or, right? I don't care about owning a house. Right?
So I'm gonna stop it real quick. So if he's paying $3,000 a month in rent, that means he's probably in a fairly decent neighborhood, and the house is probably worth a nice amount of money, and the property tax will be really high. Now, renting versus buying is up to each individual person. This guy obviously looks like he's a little older, in his 40s probably. So for him to buy a house, it may not make sense to take out a 30-year mortgage because, hopefully he'll live long enough to pay it off. But what if he doesn't? And on top of him having to pay the mortgage, again, he'll have to at some point more likely put a roof on the house, or he'll have to service or replace the HVAC system or whatever else comes with owning a house. Pipes they have to be taken care of, plumbing that has to be taken care of, electrician work, just all the things that come with owning a home. So for him, it probably doesn't make sense at this stage in his life because he will more than likely never own a home. If he does, he'll be probably in his 70s, headed towards his 80s. So home ownership is not for every person. And especially as you get older, the benefits of owning a home, number one, a mortgage would more than likely be cheaper than his rent. And on top of it being cheaper than his rent, he you can eventually own it. Then you can sell it if you want to sell it. You can pass it down to your kids. You can do whatever you want with it. It becomes an asset at some point, and you do still have to pay property tax, but paying the property tax per year, even in a nice neighborhood, is still going to be cheaper than paying, rent, especially if you're living in places that are $3,000 a month. So it's an individual choice. It's really no right or wrong answer. It's really up to the individual. He is correct when he says that people believe that buying a house is a status symbol, but I mean, I have a friend and his family. They rent and they've been renting forever. As long as you have shelter, it truly doesn't matter if you own the home, if you can afford to stay in a home, for the rest of your life. It is, however, a good asset to leave to your offspring or whatever loved one you want to leave it to.
Right? I care about uh, not paying the taxes and not doing the maintenance and repairs. So if anything happens to this particular house that I don't own, I'll just call the owner. He'll fix it. As far as the taxes, I don't pay no taxes on the house. So anything that involves in, I don't. Right.
They
Plus,
think that
even when it comes down to moving, once the lease is up, just leave, and the owner has to deal with
they
the house.
think that $3,000 a month is too much, but what they don't realize is everybody around us that has mortgages is paying more than us.
Right. So it's a status thing. So what their the information that they've been given is that it's better to have a mortgage, but it depends on how you look at it. It depends on your income. It depends on how you manage your money. It depends on how you look at things. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, let's say you do own that house and you die. You can't take the house with you. So all that is just status based. It doesn't matter if you own or you rent. You live in a house. So if you can't afford the rent, go get a mortgage. If you can't afford the mortgage, go pay rent. But it's just a matter if you can afford the rent. Y'all seen the house? Like this $3,000 a month house, I still got money to play with. So it doesn't matter if I'm paying rent or paying the mortgage. You know, I know the numbers. Like I can save up the 2%, 10% or whatever and put a down payment on the mortgage. I can go do that. I
You
just don't
want to.
I don't want to.
Period.
Right. I don't have.
So the property taxes down in Texas, I see the Texas tattoo on his chest. So I'm gonna just assume that they're still in Texas. It is pretty high. So I'm not mad at him for that. But he yeah, I mean if you want to get it. Now he said that their mortgage is cheap. I mean their rent is cheaper than everybody else's mortgage. And if that is the case, that means that whoever owns the property more than likely has owned the property for quite some time, and they probably got it at a good mortgage rate, and they probably own a home for less. But the people who live around him more than likely bought when the price of houses went up. So some people can afford to keep their rent low. Some people can afford to keep their rent low, you know, depending on when they actually purchased their home and how much they purchased it for. But that was that. Comment below and let me know what you think about that. And we're going to move on to the next topic, which is